Hello guys. Vladimir, stop. This was not necessary and a very bad timing. This was Trump's reaction, his official reaction to another violent attack of Vladimir Putin on Kyiv, Kharkiv, and many more Ukrainian cities. This is an example of a great moral collapse, not just of Donald Trump, he was on the bottom already, but of those people who still support him. Today, I spent hours watching how Ukrainian children gathered on the place of one of these attacks, waiting for their classmate to be rescued. They kept calling him, the telephone remained without an answer, and it is another very horrible detail about places of attack. Telephones keep ringing, and many people will never pick them up. So these Ukrainian teenagers, very innocent, very naive, genuinely believed they will see their friend alive. But he was killed by a Russian missile in his bed this night in the center of Kyiv. And Donald Trump says it was not necessary and a bad timing. Something really bad is happening with this world. And just imagine that Ukraine gives up. This can mark the end of the world we love, of the world in which we felt more or less safe and comfortable. And I want to ask you a question and give me your answers in the comments below. What is more dangerous, this constant Putin's violence or this tremendous moral collapse? My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, the only way to save Ukraine and the world, subscribe, we discuss all of that on the channel. Yesterday, Trump was once again very angry with President Zelensky that we did not want to state Crimea belongs to Russia because Crimea is Ukraine. This war started with the annexation of Crimea and it will end with the return of the peninsula to Ukraine. This would also be a deadly precedent for the international law if Ukraine would agree on such thing. And Donald Trump wrote like dozens of sentences expressing his negativity towards the Ukrainian president and repeating this very ugly phrase about you don't have cards. And today, after this deadly attack with lots of innocent people killed, many children, his reaction is, Vladimir, stop, this was not necessary and a very bad timing. Can you imagine how it feels to read that? Just imagine him saying, Adolf, stop, this was not necessary. Was not necessary, guys. This morning was very difficult here in Ukraine because there are lots of photos, no military objects around, just heavily inhabited buildings of people who slept during the night when Russia attacked Kyiv, Kharkiv, and many more cities with that traditional combined attack, with lots of drones first and then Iskander and ballistic missiles. And you can see these photos. It's impossible to hide them. It's impossible to describe it as a mistake again. So now Trump says it was not necessary. Please subscribe and share this video. It's important. It's important for me, for all of my countrymen, but it is also very important for you personally. Trust me, something very wrong is happening with the people who support this moral collapse, with people like Trump, like Rubio, like Witkoff. these negotiations with Russia are impossible, totally impossible. Putin only wants these negotiations to, make Trump his accomplice, his collaborator, because after this new term of Donald Trump, there are lots of Ukrainian civilians who were killed because Trump stopped this diplomatic isolation of Putin and started the negotiation process. And Putin kept targeting Ukraine with no ceasefire, which was one of the main preconditions. So, trust me, diplomatic isolation of Russia works much better than these fake negotiations that were totally impossible. They are just the fruit of Trump's ill fantasy. Putin needs the negotiations to make Trump his accomplice and to cause the domino effect with lots of wars and conflicts everywhere in the world. And he also wants war. He does not need peace, because with war he can control his own population. War is always very comfortable for the totalitarian regimes. And all he does right now simply makes Trump his accomplice. Nothing else. And it seems like Trump is okay with that. It was not necessary. Imagine a similar reaction to, I don't know, the Second World War or an attack 9/11. I don't even want to imagine such context because it is a moral collapse. It's a tragedy of once the strongest democracy in the world, a country that was building this new world order, a way better world order after the Second World War. I know you don't like some very hard things, but I have to mention you some details that we see in Ukraine so that you just have this context. What we see and then we read, it was not necessary. These children that were waiting for their classmate to be rescued but found him dead. What are they thinking now in their rooms? And what about that classmate? All of his family was murdered by Russia today. When Trump says, we have, Rubio recently said, now we understand Russian perspective better. Do you? Is that what you understand? All the family of that boy was killed. Just the 14-year-old sister survived. What will her life be like? Yesterday, she had all the family. And one more important fact that I don't have a right to forget about. Do you remember President Zelensky wanted to buy with money for $15 billion? That's a great deal. Zelensky wanted to buy Patriot systems to protect Ukrainian civilians, those that did not survive this night. And Trump said no. I thought he doesn't care about human lives, that's okay, but he loves money, $15 billion, not borrowed, we have them. And he said no, why? Does he want to help Russia to terrorize Ukraine? Because you obviously understand this is not a strategy to conquer the country, to occupy the country. That is the strategy to destroy Ukraine. They clearly understand they cannot break our will. We cannot join Russia. And all they can do is literally destroy every Ukrainian, then getting the empty territory. And that's what they are doing. And the main person in the United States does not want to sell air defense systems to Ukraine, heavily targeted from Russia, after the Budapest Memorandum signed. An 84-year-old woman and her quite mature daughter commented on this loss. Can you imagine what that's like at the age of 84 to be killed by a Russian missile? Why? Why was she dangerous to Putin? Because she is a Ukrainian. That's the only reason. You know, I have realized during this war this feeling that you don't matter at all. Whether you are clever or not, beautiful or not, talented or not, you are a Ukrainian and you are a target for Russians. No matter whether you are a talented doctor or a good writer. A doctor of the Ukrainian hospital that saved lots of lives lost tonight 2 of his children. All he had. And these telephones that keep ringing and will never be picked up. And the photo I shared on X, and you can join me there. That's the place to fight, and I am convinced one day Musk will lose it and it will return back to the good people and to the correct algorithms. And I shared the photo there of 2 hands holding, male and female, a couple. They were killed during this missile attack. And at the moment, they were holding each other's hands. A huge moral collapse that the President of the United States says it was not necessary. I hope we can defeat this evil. And it's not just in Russia. It is also in the hearts and heads of all people who think that a deal can be made with the devil. It cannot. It will either turn this planet into hell, or we will destroy it and return back our freedom, our respect to human life, and survive. And we'll value it just as Ukrainians value we do. I don't want to be arrogant, but I do have this feeling that we understand some things a bit deeper. But that boy, that couple, that 84-year-old woman, they cannot be returned. And the unsold patriot systems cannot be forgotten. This is happening now. Please share the video, that's important. And if you want to experience just the sounds of war that already tell a lot, watch this video on my new channel where I share civilian experience in times of the big war. Join me on Instagram, Threads, Discord, Blue Sky and X, the links in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Check the merch shop. But check people around you. Check what is in their heads, in their hearts. Don't let this epidemic of moral collapse ruin something inside you. Sometimes I feel safer with these Russian missiles above my head, about the heads of my countrymen, because I know, we know what is evil and what is good. We know what we stand for, and we know the truth is on our side. And we know that if God is watching, He does not feel bad for how we stand against the evil. Слава Україні!